I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Happy 4th of July and happy 250th birthday, United States! While everyone else is arguing over who burned the burgers, we're standing out in the humidity waiting for the fireworks to start. Over here at Spin This, we're celebrating the 4th of July the only way we know how, with music history. We're talking about 10 songs that have a very specific stream of letters. A-M-E-R-I-C-A. America. American Girl by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers was actually recorded the exact day of the US bicentennial. Tom Petty recorded the song American Girl on July 4th, 1976. When the song was originally released, it was actually kind of a commercial flop. Instead, it blew up in the UK first before it transferred over to the US charts. But one of the most popular parts about the song, listeners created an urban legend that the lyrics actually were describing a girl who went to college at University of Florida and jumped from her dorm room. People thought that the line, like the waves in the ocean, referred to the rushing cars going by as she was looking down from her dorm room. The rumor made total sense because Tom Petty is actually from Florida, so it could have potentially happened. But Tom Petty has debunked this myth because he said that he actually moved to California in 1974, 2 years prior to recording the song. He wrote the track while living in a cheap apartment right next to the Route 101 freeway in Los Angeles. He said that the rushing cars and the traffic noises reminded him of the ocean back home in Florida. Hence the line, like the waves in the ocean. So there was no tragic story in a UF dorm room. I am also from Florida, so something Tom Petty and I have in common. But I am certainly not a part of a redneck agenda because in the summer of 2003, American Idiot by Green Day would not have happened had not a thief stolen the masters of their previous record. It was the summer of 2003. Green Day was almost totally finished with their next album, Cigarettes and Valentines, but then one night, they go home. A thief comes to the studio, takes the physical copy of the masters of the entire album, and just steals them. They're gone forever. And actually, they were never returned to the band. So someone literally just walked out with the entire album. But instead of trying to re-record everything, Green Day just decided to start over from scratch. And then they brought forth American Idiot. And actually, if you listen to the multi-track Homecoming that is on the American Idiot album, specific moments from it, such as Everyone's Breaking Down and Just Another Year, were actually salvaged from the original Cigarettes and Valentines album and re-recorded. So little parts of Cigarettes and Valentines did actually make it on American Idiot. I mean, talk about a new kind of tension. Having your life's work just stolen from one physical piece of music. And look, I want to show everybody I'm holding this correctly. My thumb is in here, or my fingers are in here, and my thumb is down here. My hands are not touching the grooves. They're fine. And honestly, gonna say this 45 probably doesn't care because it has been written all over by my uncles, and it was found in a pile of 45s that had no sleeves, nothing on them, just layered like this on top of each other. So, oh, what is it? Beat It by Michael Jackson and Get on the Floor by Michael Jackson. It was probably a good album at one point. It is very scratched, unfortunately. Yep, okay, anyway. Billy Joe Armstrong actually later called that thief a blessing in disguise because American Idiot would have never happened had those masters not been stolen. But hey, the good old boys are drinking whiskey and rye, singing, "This'll be the day that I die. This'll be the day that I die." I'm sorry, I can't sing. Next up is the absolute holy grail of musical references. In February of 1959, a 13-year-old paper boy in New York opens up his new package of papers for that day and sees a headline that changes his life. 3 rock and roll stars die in Iowa plane crash. These 3 rock and roll stars were Buddy Holly, Ritchie Valens, and the Big Bopper. And that 13-year-old boy was Don McLean, the singer and songwriter of American Pie. This is what Don McLean refers to as the day the music died. The day the music die. Even after over a decade, this moment still stuck with him. So he wrote American Pie, which was an 8.5-minute song. At the time, this was really long. American Pie actually beat a record for being the longest song to ever top the Hot 100. That lasted for over half a century until 2021 when Taylor Swift released a 10-minute song, which hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Musicologists are still trying to decode this song, but here are a few lyrics that we do know what they're referencing. For the lyric, "A coat borrowed by James Dean," he's talking about Bob Dylan's iconic Freewheeling album cover. James Dean wore an almost identical coat in the 1955 film A Rebel Without a Cause. The jester on the sidelines in a cast is a direct reference to Bob Dylan's infamous 1966 motorcycling accident, which forced him into reclusion. The jester in the song pretty much always means Bob Dylan. Speaking more about the jester, and the jester stole his thorny crown while the king was looking down. The jester being Bob Dylan, the king being Elvis. This line sort of signified that Bob Dylan took the cultural crown from Elvis. And then, while Lennon read a book on Marx, this is actually a pun that blended two people. He blended John Lennon with Vladimir Lenin to signify the highly political shift of 60s counterculture. Then, there's the line while sergeants played a marching tune. And this refers to the Beatles and Sgt. Pepper's. The sergeants, the marching, and tune, because music, get it? And then again with Helter Skelter is a summer swelter. Helter Skelter, of course, Beatles, but also it points to the Dark Manson cult murders. Creepy, right? Jack Flash sat on a candlestick is, of course, Mick Jagger, Rolling Stone, Jumping Jack Flash. No angel born in hell could break that Satan's spell. This is a chilling reference to the notorious Hell's Angels security disaster at the Altamont concert. And finally, A Girl Who Sang the Blues is a very tragic reference to Janis Joplin, who had passed away right before he wrote the track, another day that the music died. This song is like a time capsule of rock history, but it's like one of the most sing-along songs ever. So technically that means that everybody knows rock history. You just gotta know the lyrics to American Pie, which is an 8.5-minute song. So good luck with that. Another thing about this song, if you look at the music video, you will see 59 throughout the beginning of the music video. 59 refers to 1959, aka the day the music died, aka the day of the plane crash. On to the next. American Woman by Lenny Kravitz was originally written for the Austin Powers movie. Lenny Kravitz was asked to record a cover of American Woman by the Guess Who in 1999 for the Austin Powers A Spy Who Shagged Me movie. And because of that, the track was inescapable. I mean, you couldn't not hear it. But musically, Lenny Kravitz made a very bold choice. He completely stripped the original guitar solo from the song entirely. He said he couldn't replicate the tone. Many years later, he confronted Randy Bachman, the original guitarist for the Guess Who, and said, "Hey, listen, I tried to replicate it. I couldn't, so I left it out." But Bachman totally laughed and joked that it would have been impossible to replicate it anyway. Because get this, the original 1970s solo was recorded with cheap gear that was broken, falling apart, and had been half melted by sitting out in the Canadian sun. So he literally couldn't have replicated it. It was impossible because of the sun. The original frontman Burt Cummings also told Lenny Kravitz personally that he loved the cover. Now this next one, you'll get a real kick out of. Kids in America by Kim Wilde wasn't written by Kim Wilde, nor had she ever been to the US. In 1981, a synth-pop anthem was dropped that completely defined American youth culture. But here's the twist. Kim Wilde didn't write it. It was her brother Ricky Wilde and her father Marty Wilde who actually wrote it. And then the second thing, none of them have ever been to the US. They were solely using what they had seen in movies and TV shows as their reference for what the US was like. And since their only reference was from movies, there's some hilarious errors, such as during the bridge when Kim Wilde sings that the youth wave is moving from New York to East California. It is technically drivable, but East California is totally barren deserts. Like, it looks like this and this. It is desert and the Sierra Nevada mountains. It's not exactly coastal, sunny, or anything like Los Angeles. But hey, the song claims that everybody lives for the music go round, and they were right. Everybody was there with them listening to their song, being like, yeah, we're the kids from America. Nobody even thought once about the map layout. And now time for a break and a word from our sponsors that we still don't have. But I have a very big announcement. I have a way now that you guys can support. Right now, I am my own video editor, writer, researcher,
thumbnail creator, social media manager, musicologist, fact checker, statistic analyst, content strategist, channel manager, SEO specialist, creative director, graphic designer, director of photography, camera operator, audio engineer, gaffer, motion graphics artist, audio mixer, sound designer, A/B tester, product and set designer, wardrobe coordinator, copyright manager, community manager, hair makeup artist, playlister, idea man.
You want to help me create more content, and if you want merch in the future, send a super thanks in the comment section down below. It is an amazing new feature on my channel so that you guys can support me directly. And anyone who sends a super thanks will get shouted out in the comment section and in my next video so that I can say thanks back to you. Now, let's get back to it. Estelle got Kanye West to do American Boy literally by walking up to him in a restaurant and asking him. Estelle was a relatively unknown artist in the UK at the time, and she was struggling to get work in the US. One night, she literally just went to a restaurant and walked up to Kanye West and said, "Hey, I'm a singer from London and I want to work." Kanye liked her swagger, so he introduced her to John Legend. Not a bad deal. John Legend became her mentor, signed her, and during a studio session asked her, "Why don't you write a song about a British girl meeting an American boy?" They built the track over a pre-existing beat from Will.i.am, and then brought Kanye back to lay down the verses. But Kanye at first was super hesitant and was like, how am I supposed to rap over this? But Estelle told him to just bring his normal cheeky humor to it. So then he laid down the iconic verses in just a few takes. Legit, he's a mastermind. I mean, come on. And thus, an anthem was born. So this just goes to show you, if you're afraid to walk up to somebody in a restaurant and say, "Hey, I'm opening a door for opportunity," then what are you doing? Don't be afraid. Do it. Just do it. Nike, do I have to pay them to say that? Next up, and now time for something fresh. Harry Styles admitted that it's actually a deeply lonely song about how 3 of his closest friends got married in just a short time span, which made him feeling alone and isolated. We don't know much about this track yet because its history just started. Harry Styles' new album, Kiss All the Time, Disco Occasionally, released March 6, 2026. That was just a few months ago. It only felt right to include it in America's playlist. On to the next one. America by Simon and Garfunkel doesn't rhyme, like at all. Paul Simon wrote the song in 1968 as a traveling narrative between him and his then girlfriend, Kathy Chitty. They bought some tickets, got on the Greyhound bus, and just left looking to find America. They watched the scenery change drastically right in front of their eyes and called out landmarks all the way from Michigan to New York. So if you listen to the lyrics, it's almost like somebody is singing a book to you. None of the lyrics rhyme, and it's all just a story. Here's a little bit of the American Novel by Simon and Garfunkel. "Kathy," I said as we boarded a Greyhound in Pittsburgh. "Michigan seems like a dream to me now. It took me 4 days to hitchhike from Saginaw. I've gone to look for America." Laughing on the bus, playing games with the faces, she said the man in the gabardine suit was a spy. I said, "Be careful, his bow tie is really a camera." "Toss me a cigarette. I think there's one in my raincoat. We smoked the last one an hour ago." So I looked at the scenery. She read her magazine, and the moon rose over an open field. "Kathy, I'm lost," I said, though I knew she was sleeping. "I'm empty and aching, and I don't know why. Counting the cars on the New Jersey Turnpike. They've all come to look for America." Now, if you're an R&B lover, the next one is going to blow your mind. The backup singer in David Bowie's Young Americans is none other than Luther Vandross. In 1974, David Bowie shocked the world by completely redefining himself. He moved away from the glam rock and instead moved to Philadelphia, where he discovered his raw, authentic R&B sound. One day in the studio, David Bowie's guitarist brought a high school friend just to hang out and sort of be moral support. This was the totally unknown 23-year-old aspiring singer, Luther Vandross. You know, the guy who redefined R&B music. He's huge. While they were recording, Luther Vandross and the guitarist's wife for messing around with backup vocals and lines and stuff like that and just having fun. But David Bowie stopped the entire session and was like, hang on, wait a second. He loved the sound of Luther Vandross's voice. It was beautiful. It was gorgeous. He wanted him to sing backup vocals for the entirety of the album Young Americans. Not only that, but he actually invited him to go on tour with him so that he could sing the backup vocals live. Luther Vandross was the key to David Bowie being able to redefine refine his music into a Philadelphia R&B soul blues sound. And it's also how Luther Vandross's career started. David Bowie found Luther Vandross. If you want to learn more about Luther Vandross, then stay tuned for an episode about R&B. But until then, let's wrap it up with a classic. America by Neil Diamond was a total studio illusion. First off, the song was a massive standalone hit from the album The Jazz Singer Soundtrack. It sold over 5 million copies, which was way above any other song on the track. It went straight up to the top 10 of Billboard's Hot 100, but if you listen really closely to the track, you'll hear a bunch of cheering and a bunch of applause and chatter and like you're sitting in a stadium of 80,000 people. But this is totally artificial. Neil Diamond recorded the song in the dead silence of a studio. There's not even like an AC hum in the background. It's sterile. But he told the studio engineers to add artificial crowd noise and applause and chatter way deep in the back of the track so that you would feel like you're in a stadium. I mean, it sounds like it's recorded in a live venue, but no. Power of sound engineering. And now, Dave Grohl. God, please tell me we have him. Hey Steve, please tell me that you got Dave Grohl this time. What do you mean he's technically here? He's outside. Okay, that's good news. That's the best news you've had so far. What do you mean he's at the grill? You had him be the grill master for the party? He spent the last 12 hours on a brisket? Oh my god. Well, I mean, can you just step away for a second so I can do this segment? He refuses to leave until it hits what temperature? 203. Okay, and what temperature is it at? 114? So, what time do you think is gonna be done? He made ribs too. He made Brussels sprouts on the grill. Oh my god. Soaked in the ribs? How did he soak them in the ribs? He put them on top of the rib that cooked them? Yeah, no, I'll be down there in a minute.